This channel is supported by Truefire. Truefire is an online library
enough, you can get the Truefire All Access Pass for as cheap as they ever do it, the $99 thing. So just jump and do that if you're looking for the best price that you can get Truefire All Access for.
So, the least problematic uncle, old Larry, Tom Bukovac, did a video with the M9, and maybe he doesn't know it, but you probably do. Everything that is in the M9 is in the Helix, so I thought maybe it'd be worth us jumping into the Legacy folders and kind of experimenting with some of these gems that old Tommy kind of pointed out. As Tom kind of said in the video, like, the M9 has been sort of a staple in Nashville. Tom even said that he was kind of like late to the game with it. Dan Huff definitely has talked about just gigging just that pedal. So, you know, it's a really interesting thing to me as someone who's like seeing people kind of say that the Line 6 reverbs and stuff like that were not up to par even before the more recent updates. And kind of Tom points out, you know, this stuff has been on like 500-600 records. Like, it's good enough. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on that, and let's jump in. The preset that I'm using here, I think it was called, I can't remember what it's called, I'll flash it up, but I'll drop it into the Gumroad folder if you want to check it out. I'm tempted to try this on like an HX Effects in front of an amp as well at some point. Let me know if that would be interesting. So then, here's what we're dealing with over here. We've got this preset is what I was using. Bukavac M9 highs, like highlights. So I've got 3 snapshots that I just put together here. So that's cleanish. Then I've got fuzz. Okay, and then I've got just a more basic lead. So amp wise, we've got the US Deluxe normal channel, drive at 4.5, bass at 5, mids at 5.5, treble at 5.1. Oops. And then going into the 1x12 open creamback, position 3.9, using the Neumann 67. That's kind of just your basic sort of pedal platform type situation. So the first thing that I've definitely already done a video on, because I saw that Tom Bukavac had talked about this before, is the boost comp. So you can experiment with this. But in your legacy section is basically where we're going to be living for all of these. You've got mono, stereo, or legacy and dynamics. And at the bottom of the list, you've got boost comp. And keep the drive kind of lower. If you want, you can keep the compressor sort of lower. I'm using a low output Telecaster here. Turn the output up all the way. Bass and treble, keep it like halfway. Without this. Just a really nice block. A really, really nice boost. Anyway, that's a really nice one that you probably want to check out. This one I'd never tried before. So in the legacy section of the modulation, he did point out a few of these. I think Sweeper was one that he pointed out. So let me just copy this so we don't lose it. Sweeper. I really like Tape Eater. The only trouble with the legacy modulations like this one is I think it chucks things mono. Though that one it's not, so maybe it's just Tape Eater, and some of them do chuck things to mono, so just be careful with those. Tape Eater, Sweeper, what we got? What is random sample and hold? Anyway, then he pointed out this jet flanger. Wait, no, analog flanger. And also tri-chorus. I don't actually love, I think, some of the new ones. And Dimension, he also pointed out, but I think maybe the Helix. Anyway, so that's some of the mods, and then yeah, like I said, my nice surprise was this one, which I think he said like is it the Boss VB2, the Vibrato? Now you can also have Rise. So then it's sort of sensitive to that sort of stuff. I think that can sound a little bit wonky, but the subtle kind of just a nice. Like that's really pretty. Now, another thing that he pointed out, the Legacy delay. So he pointed out this analog with mod. It's one that he uses. What I really like about it, that it's chucking the delay like left and right of the stereo field, so it's not up the center. But as you go, you know, a bit more wild with the settings, it can start to sort of sound like it's going out of tune. He also pointed out this one, which auto volume echo. Like the Boss slow gear. That's in the Legacy one as well. There is the same sort of, is it vintage swell? Adriatic swell. That's obviously a Helix effect versus these, which are the old M ones. There's obviously loads of others. I think the newer, to me, I kind of get plenty of use out of the new delays, but it's kind of nice to know that these ones are still even impressing Tom Bukovac. I think that's pretty cool. Then also this one here. So I've done a video on this one specifically. So these were done by the guy from Meris. This is from the Verb Zilla pedal. So this is a 63 spring. And, you know, he said that this has made it onto loads of records. You may decide you want to put this before the amp. Now, the other surprising thing to me, by the way, you should also check out Particle Verb. This is from the Legacy one as well. There is the same sort of, is it vintage swell? Adriatic swell. He also pointed out this one, which Now, the other surprising thing to me, by the way, you should also check out Particle Verb. kind of an early sort of cloud reverb, you know, before Strymon sort of, I guess, kind of really took over the game in that regard. Yes, I wanted to show you now some of those others. I think he quite likes Room and Plate as well. To me, these new Helix ones far outperform the old reverbs at this point. So yeah, I think the new dynamic series made by Norm, to me, are my sort of favourites. But it's not to say that there's not also useful stuff in the Legacy section there. And then, surprisingly for me, this was the biggest surprise of all, I think, is that he found some use at some of the Legacy Fuzzes. So this is the one that I ended up using, the Jumbo Fuzz. But he also found some use in the Octave Fuzz. Wait, this is going octave up. It was sub-octave fuzz. So that's very much mono. So you can't play chords with that. I personally don't find too much of this stuff all that useful compared to the newer bits and pieces. I think some of the newer fuzzes, to me, are maybe, you know, like Tycho Octavia, for example. You know, that sort of thing, or the Arbiter Fuzz Face. You know, there's other cool stuff there. He also, there's some of these in here, the old Legacy. He didn't touch on any of these, but some of these are really quite cool. You get some. I've done videos on this. Mono again, but some of those are really, really quite cool. But yeah, for me, a bunch of stuff in there that I'd never really thought to try. The jumbo fuzz, the pitch vibrato, which to me is great. I don't know if we've got a modern version of that. Maybe Poly D-Tune might be close. I just think that's an awesome sound. Analog mod, and also the 63 Spring. Jump into the Gumroad folder if you want to check that out. I'll catch you in another video soon. Thanks to Tom for sharing that information and those details. I think it's really cool to you know, gear that we've all got fairly okay access to. You know, it doesn't have to be crazy gear all the time. Sometimes just good functional multi-effect stuff I think is quite a cool idea, and it's really cool that all of this is in Helix in the Legacy section. Yeah, cheers for stopping by. See you later.